Right. So, welcome everyone to this deep dive. And today we're going to be looking at something pretty cool, I think.
Yeah.
The psychology of persuasion.
It's everywhere.
Oh, yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, it's how marketing
Yeah, we're
works.
constantly bombarded with messages and ads trying to, you know,
Influence us.
influence our choices. Yeah.
Influence our choices, influence our behavior.
Yeah. But you know what I think is most fascinating about this? It's not always so in your face,
Yeah.
right? It's not always like,
Oh, yeah.
BUY this now.
It's very subtle.
It's very subtle, right? It's like
Yeah.
these sneaky little tactics working behind the scenes, and we don't
Yeah.
even realize it.
Yeah, under the surface.
Yeah, exactly. So today we're going to kind of pull back the curtain and expose some of those tactics.
Yeah, let's dig into some of these things.
Yeah, and the first one that comes to mind, and I've totally fallen victim to this, is the halo effect.
Oh yeah, the halo effect.
Yeah, it's that thing where you see a product, and it's endorsed by someone you really like a celebrity or a famous athlete.
Right.
And
It
suddenly
makes it better.
you're like, oh, that must be a good product.
Exactly, exactly. So, I mean, a classic example is, like Michael Jordan and nine
Yeah.
Air Jordans. I mean, everyone wanted those shoes back in the day.
Oh, I remember wanting those so bad.
Right. But it's like, are they really that much better than other shoes? Or is it just because Michael Jordan's wearing them?
Right. It's like his coolness rubs off on the product. And
Exactly.
you're like, oh, if I wear these shoes, maybe I'll be a little bit cooler, a little bit more like Mike.
Yeah, you get a little bit of that halo, that positive association.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, when you think about it, how many of our purchasing decisions are actually based on the product itself
Right.
versus, who's endorsing it or what kind of image it's projecting?
It's like a good question to ask yourself, right? Like, are you buying this because you actually like it or need it? Or is it because of
Yeah.
some, celebrity attachment?
Yeah. Are you being influenced by that halo effect?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, now this next one is it's a bit sneaky, I think. It's called loss aversion.
Loss aversion.
Loss aversion. And it's all about this idea that, we hate losing things more than we like gaining things.
Yes. It's more painful to lose something
Yeah.
than it is pleasurable to gain something of equal value.
Exactly. And marketers know this, right? They play on this fear
Oh, they use it all the time.
all the time, yeah. Like, have you ever seen those ads that are like limited time offer, don't miss out,
Oh,
that kind of thing?
creates a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
Creates, that fear that you're going to miss out on something special.
Like, oh, no, I could get this now or it's going to be gone forever. So
Yeah.
you feel terrible about it.
Even if you didn't really need it in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. He's like, I don't even know if I really want this, but I can't bear the thought of missing out.
Yeah. I've definitely fallen for that one before.
Oh, me too.
Especially with online sales.
So,
You
yeah.
know, when they're like, only a few left in stock.
Yes.
It's like, oh, gotta get it.
You click that button so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to another tactic. This one's pretty common, I think, and it's called social proof.
Social proof. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so social proof is this idea that, we're more likely to do something if we see other people doing it.
Right. If everyone else is doing it, it must be good.
Exactly.
Maybe the right thing to do.
Yeah, like think about, choosing a restaurant.
Right.
You're walking down the street, you see two restaurants.
One's empty, one has a line out the door.
One's packed, one's empty. Which one are you more likely to go to?
Exactly.
The one with the line, right?
Yeah. You assume there must be a reason why everyone's there.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that food must be amazing.
It must be good, yeah.
Yeah, and it's the same thing online, right?
Oh, yeah.
You see a product with hundreds of five-star reviews.
You're more likely to trust it.
Yeah, you're like, well, all these people can't be wrong.
Exactly.
It must be a good product.
Yeah, the power of the crowd.
Yeah, the power of the crowd. But, this is where it gets a little tricky, right? Because, not all social proof is created equal.
No, definitely not.
Right. Like sometimes those online reviews,
Can be manipulated.
they can be fake, they can be paid for,
Exactly.
So it's important to be, to be a little bit critical.
Discerning.
Yeah, discerning. Exactly.
Yeah.
To really think about, is this genuine popularity or is this just clever marketing?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about confirmation bias. Have you ever noticed how, we tend to seek out information that confirms our existing beliefs?
Oh, confirmation bias. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, it's like, if we believe something, we're more likely to read articles or watch news that supports that belief.
And we tend to ignore or dismiss information that challenges our views.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like if you're really passionate about, say, organic food,
Right.
you're more likely to read articles about the benefits of organic food.
And maybe avoid those articles that talk about the potential downsides or the cost.
Exactly, yeah. And, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, right?
Well,
Like, it's good to be informed about things you care about.
it's good to have your convictions.
Yeah. But it can also lead us down these rabbit holes, right?
Yeah.
Where we're only getting one side of the story.
You can create echo chambers where you're just hearing the same opinions over and over again.
Yeah. And it can make it really hard to have a productive conversation with someone who has a different viewpoint.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because you're both so entrenched in your own, in your own little bubbles of information.
Right.
So it's important to challenge ourselves.
To be open to different perspectives.
Yeah, to be open to different perspectives, to actively seek out information that, might challenge our beliefs.
Even if it makes us uncomfortable.
Yeah, even if it makes us uncomfortable. All right, let's move on to the scarcity effect. This one's all about, how we perceive things as more desirable when they're scarce.
Oh, the scarcity effect. Yeah, that's a powerful one.
Yeah. Like think about, a limited edition product.
Or a sale that's only for a short time.
Yeah, or like, you're shopping online and you see that little message that's like, only 2 items left in stock.
Creates that sense of urgency.
Yeah, suddenly you're like, oh, I got to get this now.
Yeah, it makes it seem more valuable.
Yeah, it's like if it's scarce, it must be good, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And this, this taps into this like primal instinct we have.
It's like a survival mechanism.
Yeah, like, back in the day, if resources were scarce,
You had to grab them while you could.
yeah, you had to hoard them, you had to get them while you could.
Yeah.
And that instinct, it still kind of lingers in our brains today.
Even if we're not talking about, food and water.
Yeah, even if it's just, a pair of shoes or a new gadget.
Right, but it still triggers that same sense of urgency.
Yeah, that I gotta have it now
Yeah,
feeling.
it's fascinating how our brains work.
It really is. Okay, let's talk about the anchoring effect. Have you ever been like shopping for something and you see like a really high price first?
Oh, the anchor effect.
Yeah, and then they show you a lower price and you're like, oh, that's a great deal.
Even if that lower price is still higher than you wanted to pay.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
first price, that high price, it acts as an anchor.
Yeah,
It sets a reference point in your mind.
yeah. So everything else seems cheaper in comparison,
Exactly.
even if it's not actually a good deal.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, think about those infomercials, right?
Oh, yeah.
They start by offering you like this huge package of stuff
For a ridiculous price.
for a ridiculous price. And then they're like, but wait, there's more.
We'll throw in all these bonuses.
Yeah. And then they drop the price.
And suddenly it seems like a steal,
Yeah. You're like, wow, that's an amazing deal.
even though it's probably still overpriced.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. They're playing with our minds, man.
They are. They are. And stores do this all the time.
Oh, yeah.
With original price and sale price.
Yes. Yes, exactly. They're anchoring us to that higher price.
To make the sale price seem more appealing.
Yeah. It's so sneaky.
It is.
Okay. Let's move on to the goal gradient effect. This one's all about motivation and how, we tend to get more motivated as we get closer to a goal.
The goal gradient effect, yeah. We can see this with those loyalty cards,
Oh, yeah, the coffee shop punch cards?
Yeah, like you get a stamp for every coffee you buy. And once
Yeah.
you get like 10 stamps, you get a free coffee.
Yeah. And you find yourself, like, going to that coffee shop more often.
Especially when you're close to getting that free coffee.
Exactly. It's like the closer you get to the goal,
The more motivated you become.
the more motivated you become. Yeah. It's like, think about, running a marathon.
Right.
The last mile is always the hardest.
But you push through it.
You push through it, yeah, because you can see the finish line.
You're so close to achieving your goal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And businesses use this, they use this knowledge to their advantage.
Oh, yeah. All the time.
All the time, yeah. Like, think about those progress bars you see on websites.
Oh, yeah.
When you're filling out a form or signing up for something.
You can see how far along you are in the process.
Yeah. And it's like, as that bar gets closer to 100%,
You're more likely to finish it.
yeah, you're more likely to complete the task.
They're cleverly using that goal gradient effect.
Yeah, they're like, we got to keep those customers engaged. We got to keep them moving towards that goal.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Okay. Now, this next one is called the mere exposure effect. And it's all about familiarity. Right?
Oh, yeah. Familiarity breeds liking.
Yeah, the more we're exposed to something, the more we tend to like it.
Even if it's something we didn't initially like.
Yeah, exactly. Like, have you ever heard a song on the radio?
Yeah.
And you're like, It's okay.
But then you hear it a few more times.
You hear it a few more times, and
It
suddenly
grows on you.
you're like, oh, I kind of like this song.
Yeah, it's catchy.
Yeah, and it's like, that's the mere exposure effect at work.
It's working its magic.
Yeah, the more we're exposed to something, the more familiar it becomes, and the more we tend to like it.
And this applies to all sorts of things, not just music.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, think about brand logos.
Or even people.
Yeah, people, faces.
The more you see them, the more familiar they become.
Yeah.
The more you tend to, feel comfortable with them, like them.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So, marketers, they use this to their advantage too.
Oh, absolutely.
They're constantly bombarding us with their logos, their slogans, their jingles.
Trying to make their brand more familiar.
Yeah, trying to get us to like them.
And it works.
It does work, yeah. It's sneaky, but it's effective.
It is.
All right, finally, let's talk about authority bias. This is the idea that, we're more likely to trust and be persuaded by figures of authority.
Authority bias, yeah. We tend to defer to experts.
Yeah, like think about, a toothpaste commercial.
Right.
And it features a dentist.
In a white coat.
Yeah, and they're like, 9 out of 10 dentists recommend this toothpaste.
And you're like, well, they must know what they're talking about.
Yeah, you're like, I trust dentists. They're the experts.
You're the authority figure.
So I'm going to buy this toothpaste.
Right.
Yeah. And it's not just dentists, right? It could be doctors. It could be scientists. It could be...
Celebrities, politicians.
Yeah, celebrities, politicians, anyone who's seen as an authority figure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, this bias, it's not always a bad thing.
Sometimes it's good to trust the experts.
Yeah, like if you're sick, you want to go to a doctor.
You want someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, you want someone who knows what they're doing. But, it's important to remember that even authority figures can be wrong.
And they can be biased.
Yeah, they can have their own agendas. They can be paid to endorse products.
Exactly.
So it's important to, to always be critical.
To question the source.
To question the source, to do your own research.
Don't just blindly trust someone because they have a fancy title.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
All right. So there you have it, folks. 9 powerful psychological tactics used to influence our choices.
It's amazing how much psychology goes into marketing.
It really is. Now that you're aware of these tactics, how will this change the way you approach shopping and advertising?
It's definitely something to think about.
It is, yeah. Will you be more mindful of the subtle cues that might be influencing your decisions? I know I will.
Me too.
It's definitely food for thought.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time.
See you then.